is it about Perth and the regions, or the regions and Perth? I mean, it's not just the politicians where there's this big gulf. Why does Perth not get the regions?
Well, I actually think there's a lot of people that do get the regions, and we saw that with the campaign of Saving the School of the Year. We got huge traction in Perth because there's iconic things in regional West Australia like School of the Year, RFDS, that most West Australians know about. So I think there is sympathy there in the metropolitan region for regional Western Australia. I think what we lack, and sometimes people don't fully understand how important the regions are, is because we're so vast. It's very expensive to travel to regional WA, so often people will choose their holiday somewhere else when you weigh up those expenses. So I think that's played a major role of really creating a bit of a divide now and again on issues, but ultimately you've got two parties fighting it out in Perth, that is the Labor Party and Liberal Party, and our focus is in the region, so therefore you're not having that regional debate between those two parties, other than when we see what's happening now. We're losing everything in the regions. That's why royalties for regions played a huge part in the transformation of regional WA, and played a huge part obviously from me leaving the Labor Party and joining the National Party.
Why does it seem to work in Queensland? I don't want to compare you to someone that's in Queensland, but Queensland seems to have a better appreciation. You know, also a big state, vast economic wealth generated outside of the big cities.
Yep.
Seems to be a better understanding of what the regions contribute.
I think you just don't have Brisbane. I think you've got other bigger cities and regional centres, which spreads out along Queensland, whereas we're centred down in Perth, and we've got such a vast state that we don't have those large population base, or the decentralisation that has occurred in places like Queensland. That may be because they've had a National Party in government for a very long time there, which allowed for infrastructure and decentralisation to occur, whereas we haven't had that here. We've had a neglect of a lot of regional towns, Pilbara, Karratha, Headland, an example where they have generated the wealth, but yet you couldn't get houses for an affordable price, and that, I think, shows you that the lack of investment, not only by government but also industry, meant that everything was pulled down to Perth. FIFO is another major problem that we have here, that often governments and companies will always go through the fly-in, fly-out model rather than a residential workforce. So that's where I think that we're suffering in Western Australia, that people who work in regional Western Australia aren't often living there.